All right, when I say the words marketing plan, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us in the business world, it's this image of a massive binder, right? Something that took weeks to create only to end up gathering dust on a shelf. But what if I told you that entire picture is wrong? What if a marketing plan wasn't meant to be a static document at all, but the most dynamic blueprint for your success? Professor Alexander Chernev from Northwestern University just hits the nail on the head here. This is exactly how most companies treat it. It's a chore. It's a box you have to check, and then you just forget about it. I'm willing to bet that rings a bell. We've all seen it. We've probably all been part of making one of those plans. The ones that eat up time and money but have basically zero impact on the business. Well, in this explainer, we're going to completely flip that script. So here's our game plan. We're going to start by really digging into the problem, why these things end up on the shelf. Then we'll redefine its real purpose. After that, we'll lay down a solid foundation with 4 non-negotiable principles, look at the actual architecture of a killer plan, and finally, we'll talk about why the best marketing plans are never really done. Okay, first up, let's talk purpose. This is the big mental shift we need to make. We have to stop seeing the marketing plan as just a document and start seeing it for what it truly is, a strategic roadmap for action. So the textbook definition is pretty straightforward, right? You define your goals, you outline your activities, and you figure out how to measure it all. But honestly, that's just scratching the surface. The real power of our marketing plan shows up when you understand the 3 things it's supposed to do. A truly great marketing plan does 3 critical jobs. First, it forces you to get crystal clear on an action plan. Second, it gets all your key stakeholders on the same page. It creates alignment. And third, and this is the part almost everyone misses, it helps you sell that action plan. A great plan is a tool of persuasion. It's how you walk into a boardroom and get the budget and the resources you actually need to win. So let's just hammer this home. It is not just a piece of paper. It is your roadmap for execution. It's your tool for creating organizational clarity. It's the key to ensuring team alignment. And it's your best pitch for getting that all-important stakeholder buy-in. Now that we know why it's so important, let's talk about how to build one that actually works. It really all boils down to 4 foundational principles. These are the things that separate the strategic blueprints from the dust collectors. First, it has to be relevant. And look, I know this sounds obvious, but it's probably the single most common reason plans fail. If you can't draw a perfectly straight line from something you're proposing back to a core company objective, it doesn't belong in the plan. End of story. Second, it's got to be clear. You have to remember your plan is a direct reflection of your thinking. If your plan is a mess, if it's confusing, it tells everyone that your logic is a mess. A well-structured, clean plan signals to stakeholders that you have a focused, coherent strategy. Third, it absolutely must be concise. Oh man, we've all seen them, haven't we? Those 100-page monsters that nobody has the time or the will to read. There's this myth that more pages means more value, but it's a total trap. In a world where everyone's attention is fragmented, a short, sharp plan that gets to the point is infinitely more powerful. Less is more. And finally, and I'd argue this is the most critical principle of all, it has to be actionable. A plan without specifics is just a dream. It's just a theory. You have to spell out what needs to get done, when it needs to get done by, and who owns it. It has to turn that big picture strategy into a concrete to-do list. Okay, so we've got our foundation in place. Now let's get into the actual architecture. How do you structure a plan that's relevant, clear, concise, and actionable? Let's break down the essential building blocks. Most really effective marketing plans follow a pretty simple logical flow. You kick things off with that high-level summary. Then you dive into the nitty-gritty, where you are now, where you want to go, your strategy and tactics, and of course, how you're going to implement and control everything. Now, listen up, because this is probably the most critical piece of the whole document, the executive summary. Think of this as the elevator pitch for your entire plan. It's a quick 1 or 2 page brief for your senior leadership. Let's be real, if you don't grab their attention here, they are not going to read the other 20 pages. And from there, the rest of the plan just flows in this beautiful, logical way. The situation overview answers, where are we right now? The goal answers, where are we trying to go? The strategy defines what's our big picture approach to get there. And the tactics get specific. What are the exact steps we're going to take? See? Each section builds the case for the one that comes next. So you've done it. You've built the perfect plan. Time to sit back and relax, right? Absolutely not. And this brings us to the final and maybe the most important idea of all. Your marketing plan should never, ever be finished. It has to be a living, breathing document. There are two main triggers that should force you to update your plan. The first one is internal. You've got a performance gap. That just means your actual results aren't hitting your targets. The second trigger is external. Something fundamental has shifted in the market, whether it's your customers, your competitors, or the whole environment. So when you're looking at a performance gap, you have to put on your detective hat. The culprit is almost always one of three things. Number one, did you build your plan on bad or incomplete information? Number two, was there a flaw in the actual logic of the plan? Or number three, was the plan itself solid, but your team just failed to execute it properly? You have to find the real root cause to fix it. And let me tell you, the consequences of not adapting to what's happening out there, they're severe. Just think about it. For every smart company that pivots, there's a corporate graveyard filled with companies that didn't. Blockbuster, Sears, BlackBerry, these weren't little startups. These were giants who failed to let their plans evolve as the world changed around them. Now, they're just cautionary tales. This quote right here really just nails the entire mindset shift we've been talking about. Success isn't just about writing a brilliant plan in January. It's about having the discipline and the agility to adapt that plan in March, in July, in October, whenever the market demands it. So, this is what I want to leave you with, a direct challenge. I want you to go back to your office, find your current marketing plan, and ask yourself one simple question. Is this a dusty document sitting in a drawer, or is it the living, breathing blueprint that is actively guiding my team to success? Because the answer to that question could very well define your future.